What's going on, everybody? I know it's been a little while. It's been a long while, actually. Hope you all had a great Christmas and a very happy New Year. Hopefully Santa brought you everything you wanted, because Santa brought me what I wanted. So I ended up selling the old Trackstar Modified. Now, it stayed local, so it's not affecting car counts at all. But I took that money and we upgraded. Just a little bit, I think. So here it is. This is our new ride for 2025. This is a beat-built IMCA modified. Now, this car came out of Arkansas. Some of you guys up there might recognize it. This is a 2015 beat-built. If y'all don't know who beat-built is, you're obviously not following the UMP world. They're kind of doing really good right now. So, former NASCAR Cup Series driver David Rudiman is the owner and builder of these cars. He's got some guys working with him. And it's kind of crazy how I've gotten in contact with a former Cup driver. I also sent him some carbon fiber mud covers, really to get a Ford mid-plate from him. He didn't have any Ford mid-plates. He had like one left. So I'm glad I got that, because we got our motor setting in here. I've been working the past couple weeks plumbing it, installing some new parts and getting everything set up so everything fits properly in this car. So we got this 306 back together. I got a bullet cam in it. The lifters, those came like super quick. I'm talking like I ordered it on a Monday. They showed up on a Friday. Kind of weird how fast it came, but it did. I think it's because I already put in an order for this exact cam, and then I canceled it because when I blew up, that first motor, I thought the cam got. I put in an order, and then I canceled it. But they probably already started grinding it, and so they probably just stuck it on the shelf or whatever. And then I ordered it, and boom, it came in. So that's all good. So we did cam lifters. Kind of went through the motor a little bit. Everything looked good, so we put it back together. No really changes other than this fitting down here. I had to get the Ford Racing kind of adjustable degreed oil filter adapter, because with the way this car is, obviously I could not get the oil filter on and off with this engine in the car. So other issues I ran into was this valve cover breather right here. So I can do two things. I can just leave that blocked up. Well, I can do three things. I can leave it blocked off, just run one breather. Or I could buy a set of Ford Racing valve cover breathers, or valve covers. They have both breathers right here. Or, third option is probably going to do is buy this EVAP kit, where you plug one breather, you put an adapter with a hose to go into your exhaust to help create some suction to pull out any trapped gases inside your engine. That's probably the way I'm going to go to help give me a little bit more power. And over here, I had to do some chopping and welding on these headers. I had to get a short 90 because these headers, these 90s I had originally, just wouldn't fit the car. So we had to make some modifications, ignore the welds. I found out my welder, the reason why it's been welding like crap, is because of a ground. Now, excuse the mess. It's a freaking absolute mess in here. My son's been in here just thrashing stuff. But the reason why, if you want to see, there's like, if it'll focus, there's like 2 strands of ground wire going into this ground that was attached to here. Figured out why this thing's been welding like shit the past couple times, and that's why. So we're gonna address that, get it fixed, and get it up and running good. But it finished up the job, because I noticed about, when I was almost done. So the last little bit of welds on these headers are pretty decent. The other ones, not so much. As long as it doesn't leak any gas out, I don't care. But obviously this car's purple. It's not traditionally my colors, if you can tell all around. So DRD Graphics came up with a wrap. I'll put it in right here. Okay, so that's the wrap. It's gonna be a little bit different. It was hard to get my blue and orange mixed in with the purple. But we're gonna have some like purple glittery overlays and stuff. But we're also going to sail panels. I started kind of drawing and tracing on this with some dry erase marker. I think that's the best thing to use on sheet metals, dry erase marker. Because, right, you can wipe it away. So we're gonna mock some stuff up, figure out what we're gonna do with these open sail panels. Because over here, the guy I bought the car from gave me another sheet of gray sheet metal. But he also dropped me off a huge sheet of thin Lexan. So plumbing this car, it's kind of been a little straightforward, but these gauges have kind of thrown me for a loop. These are autometer gauges and they're all electronic. So I have a mechanical oil pressure or mechanical water temp gauge. Now this car also doesn't have a tach. He never ran one. So honestly, like, you don't really need one. If you're on the chip, you know, kind of change the gear a little bit. If you ain't on the chip, change the gear a little bit. Pretty much got an idea of the gears we running around here, besides Deep South, which is one of the tracks we're racing at for the Clash on the Coast. Well, we got everything set up, mocked up for now. Got the battery down here. That's a new Optima yellow top, thanks to Kelley's Auto and Diesel, one of my sponsors. We now have a brand transmission, going back to a brand new dynamic drive shaft. You can see it down there. So that's what we're dealing with this year. Got to do a little bit more stuff. Like, we got to finish up these headers. I got to work with the starter with this new flex plate, or the new mid plate, and get everything shimmed properly. Finish up adding some more grounds. And then we got to drop our distributor in after we've set valve lash, prime the motor, and we can hopefully crank this thing. So I've had that motor together for, I don't know, probably a couple months now. The reason why I haven't set valve lash yet is because I didn't want my springs being compressed. Like, over the off season, I always backed off my rockers so my springs were good. If I weren't planning on changing them. I mean, these springs are only, what, like 5 races old, so I think they're probably fine. So I cleaned up the carburetor a little bit. I didn't do like a full-on teardown because I am pretty soon getting an alcohol setup. We're getting a different carburetor, and then we are getting a different fuel pump. I found a fuel pump that works with alcohol. That gives me a decent PCI and decent GPM, gallon per minute flow, or gallon per hour, whichever one they're using. This one I have on there, this Holly pump, it's not compatible with alcohol. It's going to eat it alive. So we're going to upgrade both of them, and putting this thing on alcohol, it's going to give me a little bit more power, which is what I'm needing. I'm a little bit under power, I think, with this 306. I think putting it on alcohol and putting that EVAP kit on it will probably get me another 20, 25 horse or so, maybe. It's definitely gonna give me better cooling, which I really haven't had an issue with this motor. This motor runs really, really cold already. So I bought some stuff. We're now gonna put a thermostat in it instead of a restrictor. And we're gonna change up our cooling system a little bit. So one thing you guys might notice, this red bottle sitting here. This is an onboard fire suppression system. I've never owned a car with onboard fire suppression. I've got 2 sprayers. I got one right here in this engine bay. You can see it right back there. There's one. I got another one back here by the fuel cell. Inside the cockpit, right here, that is the release for your fire suppression system. This cockpit's a lot more roomier than the other car. The reason why I really went with this car, it fit my price range, but it's also a taller halo. That's really what I was looking for with a new car. I didn't care really what year it was. I just need a taller halo. Now, with this being a 2015, it only has 31 nights on it total. It hasn't been raced much at all. I think the first 2 owners didn't even race it at all. And then until the third guy that got it from really put some races on it. Now, they ran a lot of data acquisition stuff. They tested with it. They've had this thing on a pull-down rig. They've got tons of notes for me. And that's going to kind of help me jumpstart in this car. Now, all those tracks up in Arkansas and everywhere across the Midwest he was running this car are a lot different than the tracks we have down here. Down here, we're running on some really loose, really sandy tracks that don't really kind of stay together. Especially Southern. Southern just seems to kind of be real crumbly and sandy, and then boom, it just like a flip of a switch. It goes rubber down right in the middle of the track. So, Clash isn't going to Southern this year, but they've got a couple races in February before the Clash. I think we're going to try to take this car out too and shake it down for the first time. But this is a new seat. This is the seat that he had in the car. This is a 16-inch. I sold my 15-inch because it was kind of tight on me. This one is actually way too loose. So I think we're going to pull it. We're going to make some adjustments. We're going to beat the shit out of it, kind of pinch it together a little bit. Got the seat cover up here. This is an 88 series seat. The old one was like an 80 series. So this is a little bit of an upgrade. Don't really want to wail on it with a hammer, but it's what we got to do to be safe. So I eventually want to get a LaJoy seat or, you know, a proper seat, but with me not knowing if I'm going to be here in a year, we're gonna hold off for a second. But yeah, that's just a little bit look in the cockpit though. We've got our gauges down there. Really nice electronic gauges. My battery's disconnected, I forgot. Still running the MPI wheel. I think that one's a little bit too small. I think I'm gonna buy a bigger one. So if you wanna, I think it's a 14-inch. If you want a 14-inch, I think it's a 2-inch dish MPI wheel, let me know. We'll make a deal. But we are very close to cranking this thing. other than hooking up throttle linkage, setting valves, putting the distributor in, and putting the headers on, that's it. I gotta go get some fuel. I'm gonna go get 5 gallons of 110, which is gonna cost me like 75 to 100 bucks. Because I just want to break this motor, break this cam in on a good carburetor and a good fuel pump that I know works. I don't want to be troubleshooting alcohol and fuel pressure and everything trying to break a cam in. What you might have noticed in the video, I got these MD3 plastic panels sitting here. These got a lot of mixed reviews, how well they hold up. We've had stacked panels before. There it is. Those are so-so. I realized where I went wrong with stacked. I was running actual like doubled up spring steel, and I think that was too tough because it ended up pulling fasteners through the stacked panel. Like the body bracing didn't have enough give. So I feel like stacked, if you have plastic body braces like what we were running, it'd be a better deal. But we're gonna try these MD3s so I can officially say I've tried both. And I know in this modified class around here, I'm definitely probably gonna be putting these to use. But for 320 bucks for both doors and both quarters, you can't buy sheet metal and do that for the same price. I think sheet metal now is about 150. So, I mean, you're gonna save a little bit of money, but sheet metal, like, you'll never get a dent out. It can cut a tire down. It's kind of on its way out. So we're gonna try this MD3 stuff. I got the adhesion promoter when we put the wrap on. Just gonna see how it works. I put the left rear quarter on, and it seems really easy to work with. Really easy to drill holes in. Very flexible, spring back to its original shape. I know a lot of guys run the MD3 plastic nose, and when they wad up their noses, they lay them out in the sun while they're washing the car and they flatten back out. So this nose is actually sheet metal. We're gonna use this as a template, kind of do our own thing as well, but we're gonna keep this on for at least a clash. And then, like I said, hopefully it's still relatively nice, and then we'll probably get the plastic stuff and use this as templates. But other than plumbing this car and trying to get it together, really ain't been doing too much. I really ain't messed with the RC cars at all. Still got the Techno Nitro buggy here. Got the E-buggy my son likes to push around the shop, and we'll take it out front and kind of run around the front yard a little bit. But I'm really trying to get some races on this Techno. I got a new body for it that I had custom painted for me. Kind of my original paint schemes. I've got another one up there. Done by different artists, obviously, but yeah. We'll get some racing footage of this RC car action here soon. So that's just kind of what's been going on. I know I haven't posted too many videos, partially because there's a lot of stuff I don't really want to put out there with this car. And also, there really ain't been a whole lot to talk about. Me just plumbing a car and routing wires probably is not that fun to watch. And me trying to FITFO, which means figure the frick out, probably not that fun to watch. But if you guys want to see that stuff, I can definitely make some videos and content like that. But other than that, just want to give you all a quick update of what's been going on. We've got some merch coming out soon, waiting on Colin at DRD to get that design finished up, and we'll get some t-shirts and hoodies made. This is probably my last time doing it for a little while. Like I said, we could be leaving about this time next year to go move God knows where. Hopefully still stateside, hopefully still here, but I really don't know. But I appreciate y'all watching. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. I've kind of unlocked a new purpose in making these videos. My son, we don't really let him have a whole lot of screen time, but he loves watching my old racing videos, and that's kind of like gives you a little warm and fuzzy inside when he's like interested in watching the old late model, the old Mod Light, and a couple of these modified videos I have. So because really I started this channel, really started doing stuff, is really because I left all the boys that I was stationed with prior, and they wanted to keep up with my racing, and I don't know, that's unlocked a new meaning to this channel, my son liking this stuff. So yeah, I will see y'all in the next video.